Yes, we did. We're starting right now, so we'll take on live. We're getting about 5 seconds. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight is March 23rd, 2020. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Othello School Board of Directors, and we will commence tonight with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we want to welcome everyone who's listening tonight. Those of us that are viewing us, we want to thank you first and foremost for taking the time to sit in on our meeting tonight. I know that in my tenure as a school board member, this is a first. So beforehand, I'd like to disclose that being that it is new to us, please forgive the hiccups that we'll have along the way. We will do our best to perfect this system. So again, thank you very much for being here. Having said that, I will entertain a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda.
I approve tonight's, I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Stevenson. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, second by Director Prowse. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Moving on, do we have any public comment tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, there is no public comment. I would like to take the time tonight to inform our public that, hard to say for how long, but for the near foreseeable future anyway, this will be our mode of conducting meetings. Tonight, there are 3 of us here actually at the district boardroom. Dr. Hurst, Talia is here, myself. Moving forward, our next meeting will be totally on Zoom. And again, we just ask that the folks be patient. We will work on a direct line for citizens of Othello to phone in their public comment if they choose to. In the meanwhile, if there are any concerns that you would like answers to, please don't hesitate to email Talia. We're going to put her email up on the screen here shortly. Those of you that have a concern, it can be addressed to her email, and the appropriate person will respond to you in a timely manner. Again, we thank everyone for being with us. I can't stress that enough. So we will do the best to get through this tonight. And we're doing this in trying to comply with not just the governor's mandate, but with our due diligence as citizens of Othello, trying to be part of the solution to the problem that we are facing as a nation. So I guess this is a new normal for a little bit. I want to thank all the board members that are on this meeting as well. I appreciate you all. Having said that, I will move on to B2, board member discussion. Director Stevenson, is there a legislative report?
With this change that has taken place, this emergency, there hasn't been a lot of legislative changes. So all of the bills are basically, I assume that there's an emergency decree that's been declared. I haven't actually looked that up. And even though Sendai, I think is how it's pronounced, has actually taken place the end of the legislative session, I think in terms of for the Senate and legislators, the session is over, but all of those bills that went to the governor's desk that had a deadline of being signed, I know that big bills that I've been following, the comprehensive sex ed bill, a few others have not yet been signed. I think that is just because there's a few other things that are going on right now, and he's trying to take care of those things. So other than the massive, the announcement today that the governor put out as well, it's just find the new norm and shelter in place and don't go out. Basically is what the new norm has become. So the legislative report is basically just follow the advice that's being given by the leaders of both our county, city, state, and federal government.
All right, thank you for that, Director Stevenson. I'm getting a signal here from Rigo, our IT director, who's here also, when we're not speaking, to mute our mics to help with the feedback that's coming across some of our speakers. So if I forget to, somebody wave at me, do something, and I will try to remember to mute that when I'm not speaking. If you're going to speak, obviously you hit the unmute button. Okay, moving forward, I will entertain a motion to approve the required approvals, item C1.
I'll make that motion to accept the required approvals.
Mike, you missed something on board member discussions.
Absolutely. Yes, you are right, Jen. I am sorry. I'm having trouble because I'm seeing two screens on my computer here. Also on there is the facilities meeting that we have scheduled for March 30th. And based on the situation we're in, I think it merits that we have a discussion as to if we reschedule that, if we still want to have it via this avenue here. Give me some feedback as to what the rest of us are thinking.
Personally, I'm torn because I feel like it's such an important topic and waiting feels like the wrong thing, but this also feels a little bit difficult. But I guess desperate times call for desperate measures, and I don't know. For me, I would like to continue to move forward with the facilities discussion, but if that's not the decision of the board, I understand.
I kind of feel the same way. I think we still need to keep on moving forward because this will be over. And we're going to need to be ready as soon as it is to still keep on progressing forward. So, and the Zoom, I think, would work really good.
Okay, Sharon, what do you think about the facilities meeting that's scheduled for the 30th?
I'm split also on how to, the 30th is fine if we do a Zoom, but we just don't know in the next week or so what's happening. But I can do a Zoom if you guys want to do one. I can go for that on the 30th meeting.
I'm with the others. I think that we need to try it and decide. I mean, it's just a difficult time, but I don't want to wait. I think after we try it once, we could always decide this doesn't work or this is just fine. We can keep moving forward.
Okay, having said that, I believe we had it planned for 6 o'clock next Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, we will proceed as scheduled then with the facilities workshop next Monday, 6 to 8. We'll receive an invitation. Thanks for the reminder there, Jen. Thanks for catching that.
Can I ask a question, Board President?
Yes.
We just like to know, is there anything that the board would like to have us to prep for this meeting?
I think the only thing we need to do is just keep going on to sell the property first. We can't really make any major decisions until we have the property sold. So I think you've given us plenty of information unless there's something you need to talk to us about later in executive session.
Any other information from any other board member that would be pertinent to that meeting?
I guess I have a question in reference to what Sharon just said. before this change that just took, not that it's a new change, but before this reiteration of the governor today, any estimate on, I mean, I know that we've just approved the specifics as to who will be doing the appraisal and the cost of the appraisal, any kind of a timeline before this potential change of date?
I'll let Jeanette weigh in on that. Any information, Jeanette?
Once we get the appraisal document signed after tonight's meeting, then I'm hoping that the timeline can kind of move forward as planned. I don't know what the company's perspective is on it. I obviously don't want to disobey the governor's orders and get anyone in trouble. So if they don't feel comfortable moving forward with the appraisal process until the shelter in place is lifted, then that's what we'll do. But in the initial conversations, it was like a 45-day turnaround. So once we can get it, on the books, then we'll know a little bit better.
Also, just to keep in, another thing that we haven't addressed, how are we signing these things that we're approving today? Since Mike, you're the only one that's present at the district office, how is that? Just because I know that there's been a couple of discussions about how to do that, but I think that we need to have a very clear and public way of saying, how are we signing? Are we all coming in one at a time? Are they being mailed to us? What is the plan there?
I'm being notified. It can be one of two ways. I believe all of us have an electronic signature that is stored. Or if you would prefer that Talia sees us individually, she can stop by with the document. So it's basically however we want to do this.
Mike, is that like a DocuSign? DocuSign, when you do pertinent papers, you sign them on the computer. You just say yes. Is that what you can do for?
We could enact DocuSign is a signal I'm getting. So it will be like you're saying, Sharon.
Yeah, it's real easy to do. She sends it to us.
Yep. Okay, that is how we'll be signing these documents, Director Stevenson. Okay.
Thank you for saying that.
No, thank you for the observation. Okay, moving forward, item C1, required approvals. I believe Director Johnson had made a motion to approve required approvals. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Director Johnson, a second by Director Prowse. Any discussion?
I have a few questions, just clarifying questions. Under accounts payable, I wanted to know what 17,000 is for Northwest Education Specialties.
Let me pull up my email I sent you. So Northwest Ed Specialties is the psychologist services, and that's billed monthly.
Okay, and then we have another 11,000 to Skill Source.
Yes, so that's also a monthly bill based on enrollment. That is for our Open Doors re-engagement program. Essentially, it's another avenue for students between the ages of 16 and 21 who haven't had success in our tiered models. SkillSource gives them another avenue towards a GED or some type of career-focused avenue. So they have a lot of like on-the-job training and things like that. So it's just another avenue for our kids.
So when you say in the tiered program, you're meaning like Othello High or Desert Oasis. If either of the different options at Desert Oasis, if either of those options don't work for a student, then SkillSource, getting a GED through them is another option.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all of my specific questions.
Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Mike, if I can just ask a question, I think that we need to, I think that possibly you need to call each person's name when we do this voting thing on Zoom. It's a little different to do it this way, and we typically don't do it that way. That way we can all specifically have a voice, I guess, is my concern, that everyone knows, instead of just having someone click that button for us. I think that we need to out loud say it individually. My view, I mean, I could completely be.
I did ask for ayes, and I believe I heard all four of you. And then I just, if anybody was not in favor, also has a chance to a nay or abstain if they choose to. So I think, although someone is recording it for us here, I think I am listening verbally to everyone. Okay, moving on. Superintendent informational items. Don't know if there are any questions, or Chris, if you have any information to report.
Just wanted to just share with the board and with the public where we are today, but I think I'll back up a little bit and just share with you the conversations around Chris Reichdahl's 5 priorities that he's been sharing with all 295 districts across the state. The first priority that he shared was ensuring that we have the provision of school meals, which we have been doing, and we've been sending out messages on a regular basis. I think we saw a video today, great success. So we want to commend all those who put all the effort behind to make that successful today. We do know that we're looking at social distancing, so that's one of the things that we'll be working on in the future. So that's one of the priorities. The second priority was developing plans for childcare for those who are in the medical profession or first responders. We actually put that information out. We had a small number that responded. And to date, we have none that's requiring childcare. So those services will no longer be available effective today and moving forward. The third priority by the state superintendent was really providing graduating seniors the content that they needed. Our high schools are working very hard with the teaching and learning team led by Pete Perez. They're looking at content to deliver to our students, such as project-based learning, also some online resources that we're looking at, and also some packets. I can just share with you transparently across the state, a lot of the superintendents are still grappling with this issue, and we're still looking for direction and support from the state. As soon as we get clarity around the content and how this is going to work as far as grades and credits, we'll be coming to the board to let you know. But that's as far as we know right now. We're just working really hard to make sure that we graduate our seniors and intervene with them at this time. The fourth priority was really offering learning opportunities for our students and continuing professional learning. Professional learning, I'll say that John, our Director of Professional Learning, has been working with ESD 123 to look at some online opportunities for our staff. And then, as with number 3, as far as educational resources, we're still working with that. Our teaching and learning team has a team that's working behind the scenes to put these educational opportunities together for our students. So you should see that in the coming weeks. And again, we're still looking for some direction from the state, and superintendents are still grappling with that issue as well. But that should be forthcoming within the next week or so. And then the last priority by our state superintendent was continued payroll for all employees. We've done just that for all of employees, including our long-term subs, as long as they're tied to our salary schedule. So those were the 5 priorities prior to the message we heard today. I think today at 5:30, we heard Governor Inslee talk about shelter in place. And based on that conversation, we did reach out to the board individually and just share with you what that really means for not just Othello School District, but districts across ESD 123 and really across the state. And really that message that we sent out to all staff was really, you're only going to see essential staff working at the district office. Essential staff being mainly our executive directors or executive team members. That's going to be on a rotational basis. You will not see anyone else working at the district office. In essence, our district office will be closed down. We're asking if the public has any questions to please forward those questions to my executive assistant, Talia Lemus, and at the phone number 509-488-2659, extension 1003. We're still checking our email and still working from home, and we'll still be very responsive to the community's needs. The other thing I think you heard from the governor that the superintendents are doing across the state is not only will the front office be closed, but in fact, all of our schools will be closed. To anyone really coming on board into our facilities, with the exception of essential personnel such as security, just going in just to check our buildings, checking for safety and security. The only other thing that we are required to do is childcare. However, I just shared that we have no need for childcare in the Othello community. We will continue our food service delivery and pickup. Again, it has been a great success. We did receive the feedback on social distancing, so we'll continue to practice that. But again, to our board, to our community, we are in fact shutting down the district, and only essential personnel will be available at the district office, mainly the executive team. So that's really what we wanted to share based on the 5 priorities and then also Governor Inslee's message today. Questions? Thank you.
All right. Moving on, Talia, if you could scroll up. We will, I think I mentioned right, I should mention now, again, don't know, not sure if it's 1, 2, 3 meetings, what it's going to be, will be very streamlined. These will be hopefully short in nature, where we're going to focus on the priorities, on the stuff that absolutely needs to be on our agenda. Having said that, there are no other items on the agenda as of now. We will take a 1-minute, 2-minute recess and reconvene at 7:23. We will go into an executive session. The board will go into an executive session for 15 minutes to consider the selection of a site or acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase with no action taken. So having said that, we will recess for 2 minutes and reconvene at 7:25. Thank you.